Hello.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Every Rush song.
When our weary world was young, the struggle of this podcast first began. The gods of love and reason and me sought alone to analyze every Rush song. And which one are we going to do today, Tim?
I from the lyrics you were shooting back and forth. We're doing the original Rush album, right? No.
You scared me.
Hemispheres.
Hemispheres.
Yes.
Hemispheres.
The first track off the Hemispheres album, known as
Track 1.
Yes. Man, this is a long song. It's a long song.
Here's a new one from Rush. This is Track 1.
Track 1. It's the first song on side 1 of their new album. Y'all like it?
I took some notes. First of all, did you guys know that Cygnus X-1 is a galactic X-ray source in the constellation Cygnus, and was first such source was a widely accepted hole. Did we discuss this?
Yeah.
Cygnus
No,
is a black hole.
because we didn't, because you two decided to do this one first and do the two books out of order. So no, we did not discuss that. But it is very interesting.
We did at one point.
Yeah,
I think we mentioned the fact that Cygnus X-1 is what they think is a black hole.
Yeah.
Now, Tim, you don't believe in black holes, do you?
It's not that I don't believe in them. Maybe there are black holes. Has anybody actually seen one?
I know a guy
No,
named
because
Cygnus who has.
Because
Yeah.
they're pretty far away. They see something is going on, but they've never seen it actually happen. Nobody's seen it. They take a bunch of these, incredible telescope pictures, and they start using all their science lingo and stuff. And because since they're scientists, they know, well, we can say anything we want. We're scientists. They're going to believe us. When you take the X factor of 2, 1, add it with another 1, 2, divide it by 4, you get a black hole.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
That's how
Right.
it works. Okay. I was unsure. Thanks for clearing that up.
So you got this black hole, okay? And everything around that black hole is being sucked into it.
Nothing can escape.
Okay.
Not even light.
Nothing can
yeah.
escape. Okay. So I'm just curious. Where does all that stuff go?
I believe I know the answer to that, Tim.
Okay, Jay.
I believe it's South Garland.
Oh, wow. So Julian's old office.
Oh, geez.
All right. So
That's
Jay,
what the issue was.
Jay, you have more notes on Cygnus X-1 Book 2. Back into it.
I have lots of notes. First of all, I want to mention that Cygnus X-1 is a 2-part song. I'm going to have to get on my readers, so please I apologize now for the goofy look. Well, goofier than usual.
I think they work, man. You work those glasses, babe.
So the first part, of course, is Book 1, The Voyage. And it's the last song on the 77 album, A Farewell to Kings. And of course, the second part is Book 2, Hemispheres. And it is, of course, the first song on this here album. Book 1 concerns a journey of a spaceship that I can't pronounce right now. That enters that enters a black hole in outer space. It clocks in right at about 10 minutes and 25 seconds. And Book 2 is an 18-minute and 7-second song, taking up all of the first side of the album. Book 1 uses mythology and symbolism to depict a conflict between the gods Apollo and Dionysus, which is resolved when Cygnus intervenes, claiming a balance of heart and mind are what is needed for humans to live well. That's not right. That should be book 2.
Yeah, that is
That's what I
book
was
2.
thinking.
Yeah, that's book 2.
But
Well,
basically,
Roman
you've
numerals.
you've just played out the whole song. So thank you
Yeah.
very much, South Garland.
Good night.
Look at that. Wow, man, 18
So
minutes.
yeah, so that's the brief
In
the
18
brief little,
seconds.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now I have more observations as we go down the list. There are total movements in the shoot, sorry. 6 total movements in the Cygnus book 2.
I saw space guitar.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Yes.
Sure.
Correct.
We've got, it starts off with the prelude, goes into Apollo, bringer of wisdom, Dionysus. Yes, bringer of love, Armageddon, the battle of heart and mind, Cygnus, bringer of balance, and the sphere, a kind of dream.
And boy, do I have a lot of hot sports opinions about all of that.
All of it? Man, I can't wait.
Let me just ask right off, does anybody have a favorite part of this song, this epic song?
Well,
I think Tim
Or
has an
movement, I
answer.
would say.
yeah, I mean, number one, Hemispheres gave us the famous Alex Lifeson. I think it's the F sharp chord
It's a
that he's used not on just that, but I know he used it from Snakes and Arrows.
a Far Cry, Tim.
Yes, thank you. A Far Cry. He used it on that, and I'm sure there was some other stuff that he used it on.
Yeah.
Favorite parts, yeah, that prelude. That's an interesting jam that they do.
Yeah.
And it's I like the way it's. I mean, it's in your face, and they are rocking, and then they bring it down.
It's interesting. I listened
It's
to
got the
part
triangle.
1.
It's got the triangle.
I listened to book 1 and book 2 back to back. And book 2 is a very they go together very well. You could just blend it and make one big song.
Like peanuts and butter.
And yes, like peanuts and butter, Shane. Just like peanuts and butter.
Sorry. My bad.
Confused? You will be on the next episode of
Space Guitar.
There's the and now it's gone.
So the prelude. So are you talking about just the instrumental part of the prelude, the very intro? That's your favorite part?
Well, I don't want to say it's my favorite part, but I mean there's some really good jams. I love the get into the dun 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 the work that Neil does between hitting 2 tom and a rack tom and then the kick drum.
Yeah.
That's going in between each other. I love that. I like the I like the guitar on when it gets into the Apollo section. I like that. Yeah.
And it's nothing flashy or fast. It's just a run up and down, but whatever that progression is just us. It just works.
Yeah. It's just yeah. There's even when you get to the guitar solo part, it's nothing. It's not Free Will. It's not La Villa Strangiato-ish. guitar wailing. It's just, I mean, it's a good jam. And then with the sphere at the end, some very beautiful vocal stylings from Geddy Lee.
And the lyrics are great. I have
Yeah.
a couple hot sports opinions about that actually.
Hot sports opinion.
First of all, so I thought, like the prelude reminded me, kind of the whole thing kind of reminds me of something you might hear on the overture in 2112. I actually have a Fritz movement, and that is Cygnus Bringer Balance. And so the reason I like it, so I read the chords played at the end of the Voyage Return here. I didn't really listen to that, so I wasn't paying too much attention. But the explorer from the voyage is frightened by the fighting, and after hearing the explorer's silent cry and terror, blah, 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 that is not what I wanted to read. Oh yeah, here we go. So the music at the beginning of this movement is atmospheric, and with Geddy's vocal, the way that sounds, it reminds me of Pink Floyd. It's got that sound with his vocals. And then it kicks in about halfway through, and it's got your standard Rush sound that we all know and love very well. And then you got the instrumental part towards the end, and then it breaks into a reprise of the beginning melody from the very beginning of the song. And then let me see, and then the big finish, the gong. And then it closes out, and then it goes into this.
Takes some guts to bring out the gong.
Man, I'm telling you what.
Then it goes into this very pretty, kind of short, mellow movement, which to me feels like an epilogue, more than like the final song to the final part, or an epilogue to the whole song.
Right.
So I ask you this question. Should they have ended it with the gong in part 5? I mean, I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but or should they? Do you think this? I don't know. To me, it feels like the best ending would have been that gong, and that's it. We're out of here. Good night, everybody. Good night. But then again, I love the lyrics. The lyrics are so great, and I also read
the lyrics of the Sphere.
Yeah,
you mean of the whole thing?
The Sphere, I kind of dream the Sphere is great. And it said, somebody said, I read somewhere it says that Jane Austen's Sense and Sensibility may have alluded to been alluded in the last few lines of the song, which is the line united in a single perfect sphere. That's not that long. It's the line in sensibility, arms, and liberty. I mean, again, I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not a 17th century English novelist.
Wait, I was under the understanding that that's why we had you here, was your knowledge of 17th century literature.
I was not told I would have to discuss 17th literature.
You used to boast about that all the time.
I know.
No, I started laughing when you were saying that, Jay, because every time I listen to that, when he says, with sense and liberty, it's the way he says, it reminds me of, I think it's Conquest of the Battle of the Apes.
He's on.
My God, that
Let's just say those were brilliant.
Leave it up to Rush. Write a song when we think of Planet of the Apes movies.
True, it's true. This whole song, I love the song. I love the whole thing, and it's just if we were to dive into the lyrics, I mean, I get an overview of what it's all about, but what about you guys?
I'm torn on my favorite part because I really like the Armageddon Battle of Heart and Mind, because it's that same musical theme that they have going on through the song, but it's more intense. Geddy's got that doubling effect on his voice. He's yelling a little harder. I mean, it's like classic high screaming Geddy. So I love the intensity of that. But then, Jay, I almost agree with you at the end of Cygnus Bringer Balance when they go in that. It's like such a triumphant ending. It's
Right.
it's so triumphant. That's the only word I can
And
think
then
of.
the gong is just
And then
like
the
the
gong,
exclamation point.
and it seems like the perfect ending to an epic song. But
Yeah.
then the Cygnus Bringer or the Sphere kind of dream, it's so beautiful. And those lyrics, there is so much there. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, what, 8 lines, 9 lines. There is so much there.
Yeah, but
that I
I
intend to
agree.
spend an
It's
entire episode on that. Just kidding.
oh
Okay, something y'all don't know. Okay, so when they were reading this, they were, they just back then they were touring and they were writing, and they were right back into the studio.
mhm.
So as they were writing this, they were trying to think of a good way that they could close out playing Cygnus X-1 Book 2 and the next song being Closer to the Heart. So they were practicing that, and the whole gong and the hard jam, it didn't fit, to go then into so they said, you know what, we need to write something a little softer, a little bit more melodic than Cygnus X-1.
Right.
So Geddy can do some really weird pitch changes on the synthesizer, and then Alex, you go into the acoustic guitar part of the heart, which that is exactly how they did that during the Hemispheres
Sorry.
tour. Everything I said beforehand was a complete made up lie, but that is what they did.
That's what I
They went from the sphere into Closer to the Heart.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
keeping you on your toes.
Yes.
indeed.
So this song uh, overall, where do you rank it amongst the great Rush songs? The epics. I mean, to me, their masterpiece when it comes to something like this would be the 2112 Overture. But this is a beautiful line, but especially combined with the part Book 1. It's real. It's beautiful song. It's if I felt there should be a movie, like a space movie about this. And you know what? If there is a space movie,
Yes,
there needs to be a space guitar.
Guitar.
Okay.
That's funny.
No.
I'm probably in the minority here, but I like it better. I like Cygnus X-1 Book 2 better than 2112.
Oh,
I do.
I don't know if I'd agree with that. I mean, I agree. I agree that you think you do. I agree with your opinion. I don't agree with your opinion. It's your opinion, and it is good. I still like 2112 better. Now, okay, let me ask you this. Which one do you like better is between the books? Do you like Book 1 from A Farewell to Kings or Book 2 from Hemispheres? Because there's a lot of things about Book 1 that I really liked. It was
Yeah.
kind of jamming.
Yeah. There's a lot of, I don't know. That's a good question. Because it's not as epic. It's quite a bit shorter. So I don't know. I never considered it in the same vein, as with 2112 or the Fountain of Lament or those. Good question.
well,
Tim, what do you think?
I think 2112 was still number one, Hemispheres is 2. Now it's a close 1 and 2. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
that. And Fountain of Lamneth is low,
Yeah.
but sometimes it's hard to judge on some of those things just because number one, recording quality, Fountain of Lamneth, I think gets overlooked.
I also like it
Just
better than
be- you know,
2112. Sorry, I do. I like it better than 2112.
Wow.
That guitar chord is even better than the live sync chord. That okay, sorry. Go ahead. This we're not talking about the Fountain of Lamneth.
No, we're not.
Sorry.
I mean, I love Cygnus X-1 book too. I've got some reasonable issues. Look, okay, you
Tim,
got these people.
reasonable. I'm not. I need Cygnus here to
Okay.
balance this.
Doesn't compute.
The humans on, and I'm assuming this is Earth because we are talking about Mount Olympus gods. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, how's it Earth? This guy could be traveling from.
Well, we don't, and see that
he's not from Earth.
We don't. It doesn't say. We don't know.
That's true.
He could be coming from another planet. However,
Yeah,
he must be coming from. Well, maybe not. It depends on if he's from Earth and he's coming from far in the future from Earth to get sucked into a black hole that destroys him, but also sends him back in time for him to show up as a disembodied spirit who is dead and yet unborn.
and he gives good advice to Luke Skywalker on how to become a Jedi.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
So, okay, so the humans, the people, they're all pretty, they're thinking reasonable. The problem is, I guess they're just not having any fun. They're not enjoying the spoils of their riches by working hard and walking the straight and narrow path. So they want to have some fun. So they go to Dionysus, who says, look, here we go. We're going to rock and roll night and part of every day.
I have a space cat.
Then space cat. So they're doing that. Have they only been around for a few months? How did they not know winter was about to fall upon them and it caught them unprepared? Was it an early winter? Are they not seeing the signs of the seasons?
They weren't following Pete to get
sleeping out in the
Twitter.
woods. Exactly. So for crying out loud, first they're straight and narrow. Now they're all wild and crazy, sleeping naked out in the forest, looking up at the stars, drunk beyond belief.
Hey, Dionysus, man.
And so, and now that the cold winter has hit them, they're facing cold and starvation. They're all about to die. So now the gods looking upon them,
don't forget the wolves,
are going to war. Okay, Shane.
Yes.
No, let's not forget the wolves.
Okay.
So now you've got these gods that had pretty much set up everything, right? But they didn't know between themselves how to bring this chaos into order. They're gods. Okay.
Yeah.
And so now it takes the disembodied spirit from some idiot who got in his ship and decided to try to fly into a black hole and die.
Yeah.
That's our leader.
To now come upon them and basically, scream out because of everything that he has witnessed, because he's passed into Olympus, for them all to say, oh, okay, so you know what? We're going to call you Cygnus, the god of balance. You shall be. And they all live happily ever after, walking the straight and narrow, but partying a little bit.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I think
Right.
Cygnus might have had a mullet. Business in the front, party in the back.
It's true.
Yeah,
Sorry, I feel like I
possibly.
just reduced. Sorry for that reduction.
Well, that's a bit of a reduction, yes, but
Yes. So besides that, it really jams.
yeah.
So are you saying that you're not a big fan of the story?
It's to me, I just think the story is comical. This would be a great William Shakespeare play with
could
lots
see
of
that.
comedy and stuff, because I just think it's a little, but all those mythological gods are just silly to begin with.
Yeah. Well, and the second one, the third book, the Dionysus part, that's kind of not reminiscent. It's like the Aesop tale, right? With the grasshopper. The ants were working, busy, so they're kind of the Apollo side, and then you've got Dionysus, the grasshopper over here, going, "Hey, what are you doing all that for? Come on, come party with me."
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of a simplistic tale too, but I think there's other layers here that we can dive into.
Oh, here we go with layers again.
How long is it? So, I mean, we're 25 minutes into this. I'm proud of you guys. I didn't even said anything yet. You two have carried all of this. I'm so proud of you guys right now.
I think I want to hear what Shane has to say.
All right. We'll see y'all again next time.
Shane, what's your opinionations?
This theme, this Apollonian and Dionysian theme, it's been written about several times. It's kind of that heart versus mind, love versus logic. That theme has been used a lot. In fact, and just one example of that, because I thought there was kind of a neat tie-in here. Friedrich Nietzsche had a thing called the Apollonian and Dionysian. And so, and it's kind of the same thing where the Apollo's side is more the logic and the reason. The Dionysus side, I'm gonna change the pronunciation each time. The Dionysus side is more the love and creative side. And then in what Nietzsche wrote, he had the satyr or the satire. Have you've ever heard of that thing? It's usually in mythology. It's like the upper half is a man and the lower half is a goat, I think.
If I'm not mistaken, wasn't that in Nietzsche, tragedy and human, also human?
Is it? Maybe that's what it is.
I don't know. I could just be showing off.
Wait, are you? I thought you were the 17th century literature. No, you may be right. Actually, and I
read an excerpt. That's funny though. You should mention that because you came up with that on your own. I read about it. Somebody else had noted, and I made a note of it, but I didn't mention it.
Well, I mean, I knew I found that Nietzsche had written this. I didn't know Nietzsche had written that, but I knew that there had been a lot of other. I knew that because it's interesting. The first line, when our weary world was young, the struggle of the ancients first began. This is an archetype mythology that's been around for a long time. It's just, I guess, when the Greeks, I never cared, is this Greek or is this Roman mythology? When the Greeks kind of put it together with Apollo and Dionysus, they kind of had a better name for it. But what was interesting is when you go back into the mythology, the satire's name, or the satyr, its name was Silenus, which is pretty close to Cygnus, I thought, right? Cygnus. And then the other thing, let me find the notes on it, and this is out of the Wikipedia with the Nietzsche, Apollonian, and Dionysian. When he talks about the satyr, quote, He is the horror of annihilation of the principle of individuality, and at the same time, someone who delights in its destruction. Both of these states are meant to represent cognitive states that appear through art as the power of nature and in man. So while the names are pretty similar between Cygnus and Silenus, the character from the Nietzsche story is completely different from Neil Peart's, because of course Neil Peart is going to highlight, or he's going to extol individuality versus trying to kill it off. And I don't think Nietzsche meant to kill off individuality. He was just talking, I think, in Nietzsche's mind, because I think Nietzsche was more of an anti-Marxist. He kind of had that. The satyr was more of a villain, I guess, than a hero like Cygnus is in Cygnus X-1 book 2. But I thought that was interesting how close. I mean, first of all, that there's been just lots of stories with that battle between heart and mind, and then how in that Greek literature about the satyr, the names were so close between Silenus, if I'm pronouncing that, and Cygnus, which by the way is also the constellation, the goose, which is also where in the constellation of Cygnus, that's where the black hole is, I guess, as far as map of the sky goes.
I would be interested to know what Neil Peart's thought process was when he how he researched this, how he went. I mean, obviously he was well read,
and he probably read Nietzsche, right?
Yeah,
probably read Nietzsche back in those
I guess
days.
Probably, yeah. I don't know. Maybe one of our viewer listeners, maybe somebody has a little insight in that. That'd be great to know.
Ooh, I wonder if someone out there has the Neil Peart reading list, just going back through all the books that he's mentioned or referenced, and if there's a list, one list somewhere where you can see all of those. Because I know in Ghostwriter he mentions a bunch of. I mean, just that he reads while he's traveling around on his motorcycle. He read more books than most people read in their entire lives.
That's true. And he also loved his Macallan 12-year.
Yes, he did. Scotch man. I can appreciate that. Yes, I can.
Yes, even though I don't like Scotch, but I can appreciate it.
Now, to get away from all this mythology talk, let's get back down to the meat and bones of this song.
Meat bones.
This about killed Geddy Lee.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
it was, they were writing the music. Neil had the lyrics, but as they were doing that, they weren't really trying to concentrate on how the vocal parts would go, along with okay, I'm reading the lyrics, we've got this little music part right here, this is okay, we'll figure this out. So a lot of that stuff, I mean, Geddy was it was rough on him. And even on the Hemispheres tour, most of the time band is touring with their new album, the vocalists for the most part 99% is singing the new stuff how it was on the album. Geddy didn't do that. I mean, he hit some of that stuff, but he was changing it. I mean, it's a little different being in a recording studio, being able to take a break, come back, try to record that vocal again. But when you're doing a hour and a half, 2 hour show with all the other crazy stuff he was doing, it was tough. Plus, with the other songs and a little complicated and stuff, after they finished Hemispheres, they said, okay, enough is enough. We're going to take a break from these big, long, full sides of an album.
Didn't they take about a 12? Was it a 12-week vacation after, or an 8-week vacation after they finished the album?
So Hemispheres was 78. Yeah, because Farewell was 77, Hemispheres 78.
I mean, they didn't take
Yeah.
off long because they went on tour, and then
Well,
wasn't long after that
yeah,
they
and so they were
recorded
but they
Permanent
were prob-
Waves.
well, but so Permanent Waves came out in 80. So they were probably touring into 79,
Okay.
you know.
Okay. Yeah.
So they probably had to stay on the road a lot longer, just to pay for all the studio time they booked on doing Hemispheres.
I think I heard on the Something for Nothing podcast that they had recorded most of the music first, and then when they came back to do the vocals, then they realized, oh wow, this is really hard. Forget it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of I know,
Yeah.
but nothing on the like as compared to the Cygnus X-1 book one scene when he goes into the black hole. That's some screaming high notes there. That's about as high as
Do we
except maybe
know?
on For No One at the Bridge. That's about as high as Getty screams, isn't it?
I had looked at.
I was going to say, do you think that's the highest pitch on No Bridge he's ever done? And not doing
like I should. I love
Right.
that so much. It's definitely the most dramatic they've ever. Okay, we're not talking.
I
about
mean,
that one
you
yet.
know, Getty would in concert, like for Anthem and Something for Nothing, you know, in concert, he would do that. You know,
Yeah.
that got up pretty high, but that's just one of those concert things.
So I was just reading here. Actually, my sources were telling me that
You're welcome, by the way.
that
Was it? Just kidding.
so somebody posed just that question: what on which song does Getty sing his highest note? And there's some speculation. Somebody said in 77 there was a show when he went a half step too high on Cygnus F5. It got documented on bootleg apparently. So it's the highest documented note, and this highest note of a fifth octave. So apparently, but that was not like studio on the studio version. Let's see if I can
So
find.
you overshot it a little bit. Wow. So what is? Yeah, we should do. Maybe we'll do a YouTube live on that time of Getty's highest, loudest screams.
Yeah. I just read somewhere which song it was. It was
All right.
Yeah. Okay. The lyrics describe it's from it was from Cygnus 1. Spinning out of control, the protagonist's body being destroyed, every nerve is torn apart. Yeah.
I guess that is higher.
Every nerve is torn apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Man, how did that voice many, many years later record the available light and still sound so good? How did he do that?
Well,
because number one, he's a master.
True. There's that.
Number two, he's Canadian.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Number three,
Not
he
sure how
is
it
now
fits,
a
but-
beer brewer.
Oh,
that's true.
yeah, solves everything.
And he's a
Thanks, Dom.
baseball fan. So
That's why we have you.
you combine all four of those.
True. Covers all the bases.
That's
Pun
right.
intended. Pun intended. Well, we're at least 40 minutes into this. I don't want it to go too long.
Probably the longest one we've ever done.
No, territories.
but
What's your
we've
territories?
just-
52 minutes.
Wow. But okay.
Well, you know what?
Okay.
I had a lot more with the mythology crap.
It's one of the longest, but shortest for an entire side of an album.
Yeah,
That's true. It is
true.
an entire.
Yeah.
Some might say it's 6 songs, but some might not say it's 6 songs. We could argue on that. Oh, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
did.
Why don't we? No, let's start the argument again. So there will be one, and then somebody else who went into their spaceship went into another so-called black hole, and then they'll come in and do their silent scream, and we'll stop arguing.
Oh,
I couldn't agree more, Tim.
yeah. Well, I don't know. I think 40 minutes is enough. We can either come back and do another one, or we can save it for the next time. We'll decide. We'll decide next week. We'll see what we do next week. What we record. Is it going to be circumstances? Or are we going to do another one about Hemispheres book 2? I don't know. You know,
It's hard to say.
I forgot to say at the beginning, you can email us at 2112 at everyrushsong.com and tell us all the many, many ways that Tim is wrong and that Jay and I are right. Social media at Every Rush Song on every channel. Tim, if we were to end this thing right now, how would we go about doing that?
Okay, I'm going to see if I can outdo Getty.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you very much, Commander Gurney. You've been a great.
My dog